want to make sure to also take a moment to talk about the budget quickly. The project expenses that you list out here should all be things that are reflected in the body of your application. So for example, if you list transportation in your budget, but you didn't talk anywhere in your application about providing transportation for participants, or maybe the transportation is for you to go places to do research and interviews, if it's not clear to us how it fits into your project, it's going to raise questions for the panel. So when you work on your budget, make sure that each line of the expenses is somehow described or accounted for in the body of the application. If you are working on a quilt with a group of your neighbors, but then on your budget you have a color printer, I might assume or guess that you're using that printer to print photos on the fabric. Maybe that's part of the quilting project, but because it's not written somewhere distinctly in the application that part of the quilt will incorporate photos and imagery in that way, we can't know for sure. So making sure that that is clear to the panel and they don't have to do any guesswork. The question about access to other financial needs, your financial needs or access to other financial resources, this is just to give us a sense of the urgency or need. So if you don't have access to other ways to support this project financially, you should be honest about that. If your project expenses are much more than the amount you're asking for. So let's say you're asking leeway for $2,500, but your full budget is $100,000. The panel is going to have a lot of questions about how you're going to close that gap in funding. If it's something more reasonable, like maybe it's $2,000 more, so your total budget is $4,500, that's a place where you can describe, well, I'm going to do this fundraising event and I'm going to do this other thing to get the rest of the money, to ensure for the panel that you really are going to be able to follow through on the project and not, get the $2,500 but not really be able to do what you wanted.